Good evening. How is everyone today? I just figured I'd pop in because I know a lot of my spiritual community, my friends, are talking about tomorrow being this big day of change. And you might have heard of that, or maybe not. I have never really been that in tune with that kind of awareness, I guess. But what I'm looking at it as is a time for reflection. There are different energies that I definitely notice and feel in the world, and I'm sure it has to do with the planetary alignments and stuff. But the last few months for me have been very introspective, very calm and peaceful. I've been allowing myself to rest and relax, which was not something that I was accustomed to doing previously. I was always kind of a go kind of person, and I've learned to relax and take it easy and really figure out what it is that I want my life to look like. And so I'm using tomorrow as kind of an impetus to allow the changes that I'm ready to allow. I'm ready to let go of some things, and I'm ready to accept and step into other things that are where my path is headed. So I sat tonight and I journaled for an hour or so. I've been meditating and just letting the energy come in, and see what comes into my brain. And there's been a lot of awareness, a lot of good things that have surrounded just where I've been lately. Like I've been super present and feeling into and being aware of I don't want to say triggers because it hasn't even been triggery, but just reflections outside of me. A lot of the work that I do has us look at awarenesses that we have of things as being reflections. So, for example, I've been noticing, I've gone out in the evening a few times lately, and I've been noticing a lot of cars driving around without their headlights on. And I'm like, what is this reflection for me? Like, is my light not on? And I sat with it tonight, and I realized like I haven't been putting my light out into the world as much as I used to. I'm very much an all or nothing person. And so with my allowance for rest, I've also kind of just allowed myself to do a lot of nothing for a while now. And I'm not judging that because obviously I needed it. I needed to rest and recuperate and relax. And I'm not talking like laziness, if you will, because I still go to the gym all the time, and I've been hiking and walking and playing with the kids and going to the park and doing all that stuff. But like I haven't necessarily been accomplishing much, which in my world used to be like, I would have gone mildly crazy if I had not accomplished anything in particular in 2 months, a month, however long. And so I've learned to not judge myself for that rest is recuperation. I actually read a really great post on Instagram this morning where the girl is a heavy weight lifter, and she said with the deadlifting and stuff, the work is in the recovery. And she went on to talk about how important the gains were made in her rest periods. And I was like, exactly what I needed to hear, exactly what I've been feeling without being able to put it necessarily into words about the importance and value of rest. And not physical rest necessarily, but just allowing things to be what they need to be. And so that's the energy I feel like I've been sitting in for the last few months. And I've learned peaceful. That is not an adjective I would have used about myself probably ever before. And that's my life. Like, my kids don't fight. I don't fight with them. They get on my nerves occasionally, but not very often. And it's just peaceful. because I have allowed that rest to happen that I needed. So in that work, I've been looking at that. And so I sat with tonight in my journal and I was writing down like what I wanted to leave behind and what I wanted to bring with me. And I said, I want to allow this peacefulness to continue on in my life of more balance, because I do feel like I've been sitting in the nothing part more than I don't want to say should be because it sounds judgmental, but like more than I would like it to be. I'd like to be more balanced between working in my life's purpose, working in my goals with my business, and resting and relaxing when needed and when desired. So that's what I want to bring with me, is that balance. And so I looked at that and I said, well, what is that? What does that mean? What does it look like? And what it means is that every day I want to work in my life purpose, which is the life coaching, especially with younger people. Though I'm happy to work with anyone, I just feel like my calling and what I'm really, the age group I'm best with is those mid-teenagers to mid-20-somethings. I really think that they grasp the work very quickly, typically, and they can really change their lives and have so much of their futures come from I don't want to say better, from a more aligned place. And so they can really follow their dreams from a younger age. And to me, that they're going to change the world, if they can do this work, if they can get in that alignment, if they can find that and allow that alignment at a younger age. I really do think that it'll be life-changing, life-altering for them and then for everyone around them in the world, because if they're living in their higher purpose, they're going to affect the world around them. So with that, I'm definitely jumping more into, I have put together a program. I think I've talked about it a few times, but in case you missed it, the basis of it is going to be, I'm going to take 6 to 8 young people, I would say probably graduated high school or close to graduating high school, to mid-20s, upper 20s, people who are driven and willing to do the work and committed to themselves and really want to like clear out their pathway for themselves, because that's the goal of the program, and who just kind of feel stuck, like they don't necessarily know where they're going. It's like they know that there's something out there for them that may not be the path that they're on right now, and I'm going to help them kind of clear out their stuff to get to that awareness, to allow that awareness, and then we're going to work together to actually start into, whether that means starting their own business or finding a job that is in that field, or whatever that looks like. So that's what my focus is and what my goal is, and that is going to lead me eventually to the schools that I want to develop, which is going to be kind of that, but bigger and in person. It's going to be individually allowing entrepreneurial minds to create their own learning, really. I want to make that and create that space for my own children, because they're what I call outside the box thinkers and learners. And you can learn so much from that freedom. So that's my life purpose and my life goals. And I want to be working on that. I want it to be my daily reality. And I want that freedom of time to continue, where my days are largely what I get to choose. But I do want to be working and touching on this work on a daily basis, or at least in every other daily basis, because it fulfills me. When you're working in your passion and your desire and your higher purpose, there's nothing better. Like, that's flow, that's fulfillment. And I realize that that's what I want to bring with me, is that idea of flow. Abundance to me equals flow. It's when you have your direct deposit money come into your bank account and your auto pay go out, and you don't even need to look at it because there's always money in, there's always money out. And there's usually, well, there's always more in than out to be abundant, but and you don't even think it, like, I haven't thought about money in a long time. Well, this year I have because I'm not working, but it's, that's flow. And time, same thing. Like, if a friend says, hey, you want to go to lunch tomorrow, I don't have to rearrange my schedule and take a day off work and find a babysitter and all that. It's just, sure, I'd love to. Where do you want to go? I want that freedom. Okay, that to me is where I desire to be, and I've been there time wise, which for me is huge because time has always been kind of my nemesis. But it isn't anymore. And now I really value that. But I want to value my time in my work as well. By spending time in my higher purpose, it's valuing my time in a way that I'm not doing at present. I really am not haven't been working very hard towards my higher purpose. And so that's what I want to bring with me. And I'm using this day, even if it's just using the day as an excuse. Like, a lot of people will say, oh, I'm going to start my diet after Christmas, and I'm going to start, that's what I'm using tomorrow as. I'm starting a juice fast I'm going to try for at least 3 days, see how it goes. I would like to do more, but I'm not going to judge myself, because honestly, my diet is the last thing that I've really been butting up against the most. And that's the other thing that I realized when I was looking at my triggers. One was I'm not shining my light bright enough. Haven't been working in my higher purpose at all. And that's what to me, the metaphor of all these cars driving around without their lights on has been. And then the other one was a friend of mine. We were going to hang out this afternoon, and I told him, I'm like, I really want to spend some time on myself, focusing on some things, and I wanted to do this journaling and get some things done. And I said, so, I'm really busy. Can we meet another time? And he's like, sure. But then he kept texting me and texting and texting and texting. And I finally said to him, I wasn't responding. And I finally said to him, I was like, I just told you that I can't meet because I'm super busy. Like, knock it off, And, and it was like, duh, I haven't been listening to my body. I have been eating like crap, and my body's been yelling at me. I've had headaches, my back hurts. I have a few stupid medical things that are diet related. And I'm like, I have been ignoring it, just like he ignored what I said. And I was like, I'm leaving that behind too. I am no longer going to ignore the signals from my body telling me how it's doing. So that is another thing. And so to me, this energy it's been very intense. I know a lot of people have been really exhausted. I have been so exhausted. But the last few days I've actually been coming out of that. I've been sleeping harder and less, which is nice. So I'm less like fatigued, even though I could go to bed right now, and I probably will. It's almost 11. But use this time to decide what you're ready to let go of and what you want to embrace more of. It doesn't have to be, it's the 21st of December and my life is going to poof. I'm all of a sudden going to be a magic manifester. Somebody said that, and I'm like, yeah, no, to me, that's not how it works unless you're really, really in tune with your self-spirituality and where you stand and who you are. And if you're really, really in tune, I think that's a possibility, but don't let that kind of stuff push you away from doing the work. I do think that the energies, like I said, do align with what kind of work is going to be most functional. And right now I do think that the work is that introspective, like, what do I want to let go of, and what do I want to bring with me. So that's what I would suggest to look at in these next few days, weeks. Sooner than later is good because the energies will switch again. But sit with it and allow that, even and see what comes up. Like, you know, when I say, oh, I'm going to do a juice fast, at first, like last week I talked about doing it and I was still like, ugh, I don't want to stop eating sugar. I don't want to, you know, it's almost Christmas, blah, blah, blah. And now I don't, like, I'm ready to let it go. The energy is perfect for allowing that to just to go, to take its role outside of my body. I'm ready to love my body enough and more than I have been lately. So, yes, kitty, I know. My kitty's very sad because he's senile and crazy. So yeah, and then also, like I said, acknowledging what it is that you have been doing well and that you do want to do more of is just as important as well. It's not always about what isn't working, it's about what is working and doing more of that. So do look at that as well, because I think that that's undervalued sometimes. And I think it's time for us to really look at that aspect too, because there's a lot of really good stuff. And I try to talk about that a lot with, you know, this year, 2020 has been so hard for so many people, but I try to always remind people, like, look at the good anyways. Like, a lot of good has come from this time. As difficult as it has been, as much loss and pain as there has been for a lot of people, good things have come from this. And the more we look at those good things, the more good things come. It just is the way it is. I know it's hard to see that when you're sitting in sadness, when you're sitting in grief, when you're sitting in victim mentality. But the only thing that does is bring more of that energy. So do try to do gratitude still if you're still struggling with like finding goodness in your life. Do your gratitudes daily, hourly. Like I said, I think I've said this before, but I put an app on my phone that every hour dings me with a reminder. Take 3 deep breaths, say 3 things you're grateful for. And that's where I started like 2 years ago. I started very simply with gratitudes. And very, very quickly, I saw things shifting in my outside life because I was like, oh, I'm really grateful for this. And I'm happy for that and this. And it was so easy after a week or two of doing that because it had become a habit and my energy was at a much higher place. So something very, very simple like being grateful for things can really shift your perspective and shift your energies around. So try that if you're still stuck in the, oh my God, 2020 is the worst year ever. 2020 has been great for me and my children and my family, and being home with them has been magical. It hasn't been perfect. There's been a lot of stuff that's been a struggle, but I don't focus on that. I focus on how I can use the benefits and the abundance that is there to make the struggle easier. That's how I do it. That's how I stay positive. That's how my perception is so different. My life isn't perfect by any means. In fact, I had a big trigger a few days ago about that. Because I feel like I've always kind of minimized my struggle in my life and like I have this perfect, easy life and I always have. And I realized I'm like, I haven't. I've had a lot of trauma. I've had a lot of difficult things, but I have learned my lessons from them. I have grown from them. And without those traumas, I wouldn't be the person I am now. And so I have gratitude for them too. So that is where the work for me lies. In that awareness, in that growth, in that, in the abundance of it all. And it's perception, you know, it's all perception. So, all right. I'm going to stop rambling because my eyes can barely stay open. I'm tired. But yes, so use this beautiful energy that's coming in right now. The days are going to start getting longer here on Tuesday. So that will be wonderful as well, because I know some of you live in very dark places. Luckily, it's been beautiful here in Las Vegas, like 60 degrees and just sunny and blue skies. So it's been pretty wonderful for me. It's like why I like it here. So I don't like cold and rainy and snowy but have a beautiful day. I'll probably be a little bit laying low. I am going to work on my program. I will get the specific dates out soon. I haven't established when I want to start because I really do want to push and get that. I only am going to take up to 8 people because I think too many will kind of lose some of the efficacy of what it is I want to do. Efficacy. How did I say that word? I said it wrong. It'll lose some of the poignancy of what it is I want to do. There needs to be kind of a tight group feeling and trust built. And I think anything more than 8 will be too many. So I'm only taking 8 people in it. So if you have interest and you want to learn more about what it is I'm doing, because I haven't gone into great detail, reach out to me and we can talk about what it's going to look like, how much time commitment, what the work is going to be and all that. So I'm happy to go over that with you if you have questions. In the meantime, have a beautiful holiday. Merry Christmas. If you don't celebrate Christmas, take the joy and the energy from Christmas. I don't believe in the whole, Christian part of it, but we celebrate Christmas anyways, because for me, it's just a joyful time that I get to share, and the kids get to be, happy and joyful and silly and loving and giving and all of those things, which to me are the values that really matter. So I really do appreciate all that fun stuff. So have a great evening, and I'll catch up with you guys soon. Bye.